Alright, so this is a Tomsline ADL-1 delay. I've had bad luck with delays. That's one kind of pedal where they seem to just kind of fizz out on me. You know, 1 minute they're working, the next minute, all of a sudden, boom. It's just like the delay is maybe kind of sort of really super quiet, if it exists at all, making all kinds of little gurgly noises or whatever. Anyway, this is one of those delays, so I thought I could use this enclosure. Now, when I disassembled it, I realized it had a top and a bottom, which most enclosures don't have this panel removable. This would actually be fixed. You know, you'd have your four sides around the edges. You'd have your four edges and then your top, right, so to speak. And then you'd have a back panel, the bottom. Well, when I was taking this apart, I thought, what a kind of not a great idea for an enclosure, but I thought about it some more and I thought, well, maybe it's more versatile to have a top panel and a bottom panel. Okay, so be that as it may, some things I've noticed about this pedal. Okay, it looks like TRS jacks. You got your three bands on your input and output, which is tip ring sleeve, TRS, instead of what would it just, normally it would just be TS, tip and sleeve, where you'd have two bands in there. I'm not sure why they use TRS jacks. Okay, so this is, I think, a PT 2399 delay, and that's your 2399. That's tiny compared to the ones I've seen, the other ones I've seen. So everything on here is tiny. Can you see just to the left of the timer chip, the delay chip? That's a row of surface mount resistors. It's amazing. That there is an op amp, the 8-pin, and then you got a little 3 or 4-pin thing over here. I think that's a voltage regulator, which, if I'm not mistaken, is common in a 2399 type of pedal. So you got a lot of surface mount mixed in here, especially that row I was describing to the left of the main chip. I actually prefer not to have surface mount. I think those resistors, I mean these capacitors, are cool. I don't know what you'd call those. But look at the electrolytic capacitors, the sort of towers or the can type. They're, I don't know if you can see it in this video, but they're tiny. I mean, not tiny, but they're small. They're not big. You got your light emitting diode. These pots are interesting. They have really long, so you can see the connectors. So if I part this thing out, from what I know of electronics, which is very little, but if I parted it out, I could get, I could use the jacks, the foot switch, the pots. That's about it. Maybe the LED. So that's, you know, $5 worth of parts at max, probably. But yeah, I don't like these surface mount type of resistors. I think they're amazing. You know, the way things get smaller and smaller, that is amazing. But I think you get a better sound from a bigger component size in general. So yes, that's the insides of the Tomsline delay. Now, I probably have a lot of pedals that actually have surface mounts and tiny chips. Like, for instance, the Obsessive Drive from Mosky probably has an op amp that's tiny like that. Actually, I don't know if it has op amps. Maybe that's a bad example. But say I have a distortion drive over here's pedal and it's got really tiny op amps. I probably use pedals with tiny components. I use them all the time, right? But I would prefer not to, actually. I I think an old school analog approach with larger components is the kind of pedal I would be into. And that makes me wonder if those $200 pedals have a lot more of the larger parts. Anyway, this is an analog pedal. From what I can tell, it doesn't seem to have any analog to digital converters, digital to analog converter, you know, back and forth. It doesn't seem to turn the sound digital and then back to analog again. So it's an analog pedal with miniaturized components is the best way I could describe it. Well, I just thought that would be fun to throw out there. I found it fascinating. I would definitely begin to look for pedals with larger components in general. But sometimes, you know, you need a digital pedal to do certain things. But if I'm in the analog realm, I want larger components. Like for instance, the PT2399s that I've seen, they're like 4 times as big as this. And same with the op amps I've seen, they're easily 4 times bigger than that. And the resistors, you know, I've seen resistors that are 10, 20 times bigger than that. So, same with the cans. I've seen cans that are 2, 3, 4 times bigger. They're not transistor cans, mind you. I'm just calling them cans. Those electrolytic caps. You can see that one down there between the 2 yellow caps. You can see the other 2 over here to the left of the LED. These are small caps, and I would prefer larger ones. Okay, anyway, that's that. Okay, here's something. These are 0.1 UF caps. Pretty good. They were less than 10 bucks. That's 100 of them. That's real. That's a scar. These are 071 JFET op amps, TL071, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I better get to work. But yeah, you'll see these like with a resistor wrapped in, and then somebody's selling them for 10 bucks. One of these caps with a resistor in parallel, and they'll be like special tone circuit, $8.95. Well, you can do it yourself. I'm going to have a lot of use for these. This is I've determined that I think this might be the sweet spot for what I'm looking for in a tone cap. It's about double the strength of a .047 UF. But I've gone as ridiculous as 1 UF, which is 10 times stronger than this, or 20 times a .047 roughly. Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. Got some new parts.